minute to come on in. Since we've been gone for a couple weeks, got to get back in the routine of things. Just waiting for everybody to come on in. Hope everybody had a wonderful new year. Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing tonight? We're back after a couple weeks, which is awesome. And we've got some special guests for you tonight. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes till everybody comes on in. Hey, Lisa Clovey. Hey there, Linda and Russell at Seed Faith. Hi, Nancy at Our Treasured Home. I'm going to scold you because you're supposed to be in bed, relaxing, not doing anything. So no chatting, Nancy. Just relax. I hope you feel better. Hi, Andale. Welcome in. Hello, Mr. Blue Collar. Diesel knows we're live. Hello, Southern Roots. My friend Sherry, how are you? Good, Nancy. I'm glad you're in bed. I'm going to need Diesel to go to bed. Hey there, Jamie at Mad Acre Farms. Welcome in. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy because we've been gone for 2 weeks. It feels like forever. Hey, Jim, Adventures on the Homestead. Hey, Jason, Gardening with Goody. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, hello, Diesel. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's saying, hey, Tim. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. It feels like we haven't been live in so long because of the holidays and stuff like that. But it was a nice break. We just decided that the way the holidays fell, we just didn't want to take away from family time or take anyone else away from family time if they had that opportunity. Hey, Shelly, Whiskey and Sunshine Off Grid, welcome in. So yeah, so we figured we would just take those holidays off because they both fell on a Friday. And then, obviously we didn't go live for those 2 weeks, but we've been posting. And then we also obviously have been going live on Mondays for Around the Hay Bale, which is really fun. But so let me see here. Yeah, I think I got everybody. So without further ado, I am going to bring up Dawn and Lily with DB Acres Homestead, and we're going to get interviewing them, and then we'll go back and forth to the chat to make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay. Here they are. Hello, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going good. We might get David on here in a little bit if he ever gets done brushing his teeth.
That's all right. We're laid back here, laid back. Diesel barks the whole time.
Oh, Diesel, is he feeling better?
Yeah, he's feeling much better. Hey, Trinity Blue Collar Homestead. Yeah, he's feeling much better. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to have to put my headphones on if he keeps up. But Diesel, come here.
Oh.
What happened was Ryan woke up at 4 a.m., took him outside, the normal routine, fed him and all that jazz. And within an hour, Ryan was waking me up and said, there's something wrong with Diesel. And his whole face was swollen. And the only thing that we can think of, and the vet suggested, was spider bite.
Ooh.
Because it was an acute onset. Hey, Bunky's Garden. And so it was an acute onset, and he just swelled like none other. And I'm glad we had Benadryl on hand because that stopped the swelling. And then we took him to the vet, and they gave him his allergy. He gets a monthly allergy shot when it's warm out. So it's a bulldog thing. They're always allergic to something. So anyway, lo and behold, he's much better, and I'm just glad because he was looking really bad. So poor guy's eyes were all swollen shut. It was just terrible.
That picture you sent me was sad.
I know it. Hey, Virginia fruit grower. I'm going to get my earphones. So if you'll excuse me 1 second.
No problem. I'll tell everybody you can see our lovely construction, how our kitchen is not done yet. y'all feel sad for me. I was telling him my kitchen's not done. And I said, feel sad for me.
Feel sad.
I don't have a real sink like most people. And I actually have to do dishes by hand, which now you should really feel bad for me.
I'm just going to get this set up real quick. I apologize, folks. Ryan went outside, and so that's why Diesel's barking, because he's all about pay attention to me. So I apologize, ladies. It'll take just a second.
No problem.
And then I will get right back to the chat, y'all. Of course, things don't want to cooperate the way you want them to cooperate.
I'm just glad we have internet.
No, you guys are doing great. I'm sitting here like.
Is it spotty for you sometimes?
No, the internet is excellent here. It's actually the best I've ever had. The issue I'm having is just waiting for my Bluetooth for the headphones to come up. So I'm going to look in the chat while I'm waiting, so I'm not holding people up.
Sure.
Bluetooth is on. I just don't want folks to have to listen to Diesel barking nonstop. Did Diesel find a porcupine outside? No, he didn't. He'd go after it, though. I'll tell you that much. Hello, Mrs. VSN CO9. Welcome in. Hi, Leanne. Mennonite Farmhouse. Hello, Hog and Jaws. Welcome in.
Hey. Hi, Caleb. Good to see you. He's one of our awesome supporters. We love him. We love him all.
Cool. Hey, bro, cowgirl. Gwen, hope you're doing well. Hello, Loki, Trapping Adventures. Welcome in.
Full house.
Hello, blind guy. His wife, their life. They said they feel sad for you about the undone kitchen. Well, you're going to learn more about that. You might not feel so sad when you learn more about it.
Yeah. Hey, y'all hitch it up on a bus and get down here and help us. Yeah. Come on.
Hello, Tommy, Pastime 84. Hello, Gail Southern Living. Welcome in. Oh, it's so good to see all you guys. I've missed you guys so much.
Look at this.
It's crazy when you take 2 weeks off of YouTube lives, and it's like, oh, I'm back with everybody. I gave up on the headphones, so if Diesel barks, I'm gonna hope Ryan takes care of him. So
you take him night.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Does he sleep by Ryan?
Yeah, he will.
There's Levi. Levi's sick. He just gonna. You feeling better?
Oh yeah.
Oh great.
Hi, Levi. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
You were the first live they had ever seen, so feel very honored. They'd never
wow.
Yeah. The very first time they ever saw one. So.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Hey, Moon over Miami. So why don't you? Do you want to introduce everybody in the family or whoever's coming on? Or?
Absolutely. Luke, you want to come on over? Dad, are you available?
Yeah, on the way.
Here we go. So this is Lily, our youngest. Lily, you want to tell them how old you are?
I am 13 years old.
And we homeschool all of our kids. And this is my husband, David.
Hi, David.
Luke. Levi. Luke is our oldest. He's 19 and he's about to be a mechanic's apprentice. Nice. And Levi is 15 and love them all to death. We've been very blessed with wonderful kids.
You sure have.
I'm Dawn.
And what?
And I'm Dawn.
I was like, I knew that.
Just in case anyone else doesn't know that.
You want to tell us what state you're in?
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma.
Okay. And why don't you tell folks a little bit about what you do on your homestead, like, what's going on over there. Save the house for later.
Sure. Okay.
Let's tell about the animals and then talk about your channel and stuff.
You want me to?
I'll just start off just the basics. We do homestead here in Oklahoma. I also work full time, and of course Donna works full time too. She just works at home, but she still works full time. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And we
homesteading.
tried back when we lived in the city. We tried on 1/3 of an acre.
Uh-huh.
And for about nearly 10 years, we built a greenhouse. We had apple trees. We had a small garden and tried to build what they call a micro farm. And it didn't work. We couldn't make it work. And trees, the apples were about this big and they're green, tart things. And
we had horrible soil. We had horrible neighbors whose kids would throw knives. And it was a really good part of town, but they were just disrespectful kids.
Throw silverware. And
we thought we can't have chickens here because they'd be hitting the chickens, and it was just crazy.
But we thought, something's not working. So the Lord opened the door for us to move out on a larger parcel. And funny note is, the year after we left, not even a year after we left, our neighbor called and said, "Hey, guess what? Your apple trees produce 700 apples or pounds of apples." So
we almost died.
It was.
Oh my gosh!
But,
we were like, "Okay, God, you pushed us out of there." It wasn't for us, but it seems to be working. Better here. I guess this is where
the moral is, if the Lord wanted us to stay, we would have had the apples 6 months beforehand. So anyway, we're here.
True.
And it's been a challenge, as everyone can testify.
Yeah. Homesteading can be challenging.
But as far as the animals, go ahead, Dawn.
And then you wanted us to talk about some of the animals? Yep. We always knew we wanted chickens and
I can
pigs.
name every single one.
Yeah, and by the way, Levi can name every single one, even though most of them are black, which I'm like, what chicken is this? He looks at the wattles and he knows, and the combs, and he knows. But we always knew we wanted chickens and pigs. And then recently goats. We want things that are going to provide for us, as much as possible. Meat, cheese, milk, like most people do, to be as, self-sufficient as possible. But we never in our wildest dreams thought we would be segueing into ducks, which I think I've talked to you about this. One duck changed our life. Levi's wanted a duck for 10 years. And, we thought, okay, hey, we got 40 acres. Let's do it. So we got him a duck and we started learning more about ducks so that we could take care of him. And the more we read about him, the more we realized how at about 6.5 weeks, all their meat is there, and you could literally, have this animal ready to process. And we thought, wow. And so we started thinking about it more because we were going to just do chickens for meat. So now, it's looking like we're moving to meat ducks. And also our ducks are going to supplement us on eggs when the chickens aren't always laying well, so it's just kind of moving forward. We will always have chickens, but we're going to really move into a lot more ducks for like pecans and khakis,
Yep.
So, and, I'm pushing for a goose, but it's a pretty hard sell on this one. He does not like geese.
Too many violent encounters at the city park with geese, I think.
Yeah. A goose
I'm with you. I will say I do have a friend on Instagram who tells me that as long as you get them when they're young, like you hatch them and you imprint with them,
right,
they are a much different story. Now that's his experience. He loves them. I'm with David. I remember watching my friend's children in the corner, and her children were daredevils, let me tell you. Like nothing scared these girls, and they were in the corner and they didn't come back from chores. And we were like, what is going on? The 2 geese had them cornered.
Yeah.
The geese weren't doing anything, but like every time the girls moved forward, the geese would move towards them and the kids were like, no. And they'd go, wah, wah, and they have bruises on their arm and everything. It was crazy. So yeah, you got to be careful.
They can be good for guarding, because if they love the family and specifically like imprint on those people, it's a guard goose. And so, I'm kind of looking at it from that point of view. I probably wouldn't want to get one from someone else, but definitely. I've never thought about quail, but recently a lot of people have been talking to me about them, and I've thought about bunnies, but for now it looks like our core is going to be ducks, chickens, goats, and hogs. And then the hogs are coming in the spring, Lord willing. We've already got the fence going. So and we were lucky. We got all the fencing for free. Luke's former employer at the wedding venue he works at, they were changing out their septic. Was it septic?
Sewage lagoon.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
They had a fence around it.
And they basically, we said, can we pay you for it? And they were so sweet. And they just free and clear. It was like brand new, gave us all of it. And so that's going to provide the hog fence. And I love it when you can reuse something. It's amazing. And then when it's free,
Yeah. We call it the farm store. We have 2 piles on the property. That's the farm store. And that's all the pieces of stuff that we don't want to throw out because we know we'll use. And in fact, the other day when we put the fence, the gate up for Grant, when we looked at the gate, we didn't think he could fit through it. Grant is our little pig. Mm-hmm. We were afraid that he would squeeze through it if he got excited or got scared. So we said, well, let's put a piece on it. And we found a piece of hog panel that had cut off. And it fit right on it. So it was perfect, We're
so glad you didn't throw it away.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to go to the chat real quick
Sure.
to welcome in some people. Hey, Tina Ladybug. Hello, Ann, Little Frenchie in Big Texas. Welcome in. Hello, Charlene Heel. Welcome in. Paul's Green Space. Welcome in. So glad you guys are here.
That's okay.
Missed you guys.
I'll get a chair here.
Just want to make sure we get to the bottom.
It's my first log. Did we go into a short time?
So why don't you tell a little bit about your journey of how you decided to, I know you said you moved from the other property, but what made you decide to go down this road?
Absolutely. It was not my dream to have this much land. For me, homesteading looked like 2 to possibly 10. And David always wanted to go big. And am I right?
Yeah, since I was a kid, I had an interest in land in general, farming. And but what happened was Dawn actually we had a health scare, and just long story short, we needed to start producing our own food and eating as clean as possible. Mm-hmm. And a lot bigger scale than what we were trying in the city. Yeah. And I've heard the micro farm people have done some really neat things, but we thought, it'd be neat to get out of city limits, although sometimes we miss city limits. Mm-hmm. But we it was producing food. It was being more independent. Mm-hmm. We have some timber. We can produce our own heat. All we have to do is cut down the trees. Mm-hmm. And but that was the idea, just to be as self-sufficient as possible. Mm-hmm. And having a larger piece of land means that we have some room for the kids to build on. Oh yeah. If that's the course that they take. Mm-hmm. And so we just had some options. Yeah. With having an acreage.
And you have how many acres did you say?
40.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's plenty of room.
I was pretty freaked out when he told me that we got it because we only drove by it one time and we looked at it, and in his mind, he had this checklist of things he wanted. And this just, it checked off everything on the list. And he was like, I think this is the one. Let's pray about it. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to basically kind of lowball the guy because we didn't know if it would work out. And so he went low, and the guy comes back a day later and says, that was my bottom offer. And so David calls me and says, yeah, it looks like we got 40 acres. And I'm like, what? I'm just never my wildest. I never saw myself in, more than 10. And so I'm like, what are we going to do with it all? But, it does have a pond, and for the rest of our lives and the kids' lives, because if they want, everybody gets 2.5 acres. That was just, I feel like I want to give them a living thing to have, a living inheritance while we're still alive. Mm-hmm. I've just always felt like that, and something that can produce for them. And that's just, I feel very passionate about that. And And I thought to myself, this wood is going to produce, they can have fuel and they can have animals. And so that part is exciting. So when I look at it that way, I see now why 40 is great for us, but it was a little daunting, at first.
It still is sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I bet. Well, it's better to be that way. And except when you're like me, I'm the opposite. I sit there and I tell Ryan, I'm like, look, it's 100 acres. And Ryan's like, do you have any idea how big 100 acres is?
Well, David doesn't realize that he has created a monster, because now I want to fill up the land with tons of animals, because I'm like, I feel crazed, Now he's like, tries to calm me down. The city gave me the go on taking as many of the ducks as I wanted to, like Buffy, the rescue duck. So now he's like trying to keep me from that park, because I'm going to be grabbing ducks left and right.
That's funny. It's funny. We have 2 acres, and poor Ryan, I think every time he turns around, I'm like, we got to get this. And he's like, where are we going to put it?
You guys do good on your 2 acres. I'm always shocked every time you remind me that you have 2 acres, and it just really represents well with the huge trees that you have. So.
Your acreage looks bigger than 2 acres, actually.
Yeah, it does. But it's just that the house is situated. So the way it's situated is the house is, here's the 2 acres, and that back of the house is here by a main road. And there's these rock outcroppings, so you can see us, but hardly. But then that's it. When everything that I'm filming is the front of my house that goes down the rest of the property.
Okay, so we're seeing the whole thing.
It represents. Yeah. So here I'm thinking there's a whole bunch more behind you.
Yeah, and the other part of it is too is behind the chicken coop. A lot of our property, I don't want to say is wasted, but we have these very large granite rock outcroppings. And so what happens is our property goes all the way down to the base of them. So that's useless. So I think that it's just the key thing of being efficient, which is something we really pride ourselves in, being efficient use of land. Because you saw where we had our ducks. We put them between the 2 barns, and everything. So it worked out really good.
Oh, yeah. You just got to work smart.
Yep.
It can be hard, but yeah, you guys are doing great.
Thank you. I'm going to go to the chat just to welcome in some people. Let's see. Hey, Jake, Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Hey, Country Mama Musings. Welcome in Donna Griggs, Nana's Crazy Life. I have to say both names. I don't know why. Sorry. Broke Cowgirl wants guineas so bad. She said,
I'm scared of guineas.
Here, I'll put it on the screen to see if you can you read that?
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay. Hey, Freddie Farm and HVAC. Paul's Green Space has 4 Sussex hens, and they are just beautiful. Great pets to have, beautiful eggs to eat. Good night, Bunky. Have a good evening, Bunky's Garden. Just want to make sure catching everybody. Matt Acre Farm says, what a cool plan, DB Acres.
Oh, no, I just want to hear it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I like it. Well, she read.
I just want to make sure I get through everybody. I don't like to ignore folks. Hey, Blue Farm, welcome in. Hey, Rebecca Davis. Hey, Uncle Al, welcome in, welcome in. Hello, Mejia's Rescue Ranch and Our New Land. Hello. So why don't you talk about, I don't want to use the word that you use for it, but talk about the house build. Tell them where you were when you first got there.
What do you mean the word I used for it? What do you mean?
You called it it was a play on condominium.
Oh, barn
dominium. Barn dominium. Yeah. So ask me the question again.
So why don't you talk about like where you were when you first moved in on the land and where you are now with the house?
You want.
Well, we show up. Me and the boys show up the first day after we close with our chainsaws and our sack lunch. And
we rented because our house sold so quick, and we were living an hour. So these poor guys would drive an hour one way. And yes, Caleb, we would like coon pigs. I'm answering Caleb.
Yeah.
That y'all, it's Hog and Jaws. Hi, Caleb. But anyways, so not only were they working all day every Saturday, which was all they had because David worked full time, they would drive an hour one way and one way back.
Remember
So
that?
go ahead with wet shoes.
Well, remember, we didn't have boots, so we had to walk through the water because it just rained.
It had rained all day the day before, the day we had closed. It rained all day.
Oh,
And so we show up with our chainsaws and everything, and
our sneakers.
and we had our helmet and our orange and everything, and they're ready to go.
City folks.
And we show up, and it was the thickest woods. Of course, we didn't go to this area that we were going to build in. We just walked to the open field when we looked at the land. So we show up, and it's a rainforest. It's thorns. It's a nightmare.
oh.
We show up, we cut down about 2 trees, and I said, guys, we're in trouble. So we hire a bulldozer, and so they go to work, and so this is a course that takes months, and so they clear 1 acre, and I got looking, and I thought, you know what, we need to build up there, and it's higher ground.
Mm-hmm.
So called another bulldozer out, and he clears another acre, and it just so happens that worked best because it was the highest point of the property. So we had that acre and the other acre that is now our garden and some open field. So
Remember how long it took to burn all those trees?
yes,
Better, Tommy.
the burn piles were a huge chore.
Huge burn piles.
These burn piles, to burn them down and hours and hours just to get these burn piles.
That wasn't the worst, having to dig through everything and get all the twigs out.
Yeah. So a burn pile is what the bulldozer, after they get done clearing, you end up with a pile of trees and brush, and you have to go through them. And after you burn it once, you have to dig and dig and dig and get the mud out of the way and burn again. It's probably 10 burnings total.
It took us a year to get
over a year to get the first one done.
burn piles done. Yeah.
And then we finished the second one just last year. But anyway, yeah, it took let's see, a good 6 months before we broke ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so we break ground and we have the concrete poured, the steel shell built, and the interior sprayed with 1 inch of sealed foam. And so the rest is up to us.
Yeah.
And
it was something we knew we wanted to do to be debt free quicker, was to finish the inside. But during that process, something that happened that we weren't expecting was we had a plan. Was it to rent for a year? I forget. Or
for 6 months.
I'm sorry, 6 months. Yeah. And we had unprecedented rains, like torrential rains, to where the builder couldn't come out. We couldn't come out. And so everything kept getting pushed back. There was some contractor, as always, issues, some builder red tape and issues. And then before we knew it, we were renting in a college town, which was very expensive because we wanted to be in a nice neighborhood. And before we knew it, all of our funds that we literally had saved up to do a lot of our building was almost depleted. And it was kind of one of those things where we're going, oh, this is not good. And we just prayed and prayed. And so he said, we're going to have to do something I wasn't planning on. He planned on having a lot of stuff, ready to go before we moved in. We knew it wasn't going to be complete, but we wanted to have a lot more functional. Mm-hmm. He's like, we're basically going to have a bathroom, a little garden sink in the kitchen, a stove, a refrigerator. And now the bathroom is 100% because no woman is coming to a house that does not have a full, maybe some woman, not this woman, but yeah. And no bedrooms. We camped as a family for a year and a half ish.
You guys' room got finished.
Yeah. And that wasn't, by the way, that sounds horrible. We got our room done first. Why did we do our room?
Because it was the closest.
Well, we started on one end.
Oh, that's right.
And worked our way
this
You
way.
can't move down until you have frame to build on.
That's right. Okay. I know nothing about construction.
The frame, the lumber was okay. So we get the house built and we moved in the fall. And then we're experiencing our first winter, which, by the way, we were not prepared for. I thought that you just go out, cut wood, and you're good. Well, it is, but you have to let it season.
Yeah.
So it was a cold winter. We were walking all over the woods finding dead wood that had fallen years before, just so it would burn.
Mm-hmm.
And so we spent a lot of time just doing that to keep warm. And so anyway, so we finish the very first winter, coming into March, and then the pandemic hits, and then the price of lumber, just as we all know,
Quadrupled.
Yeah, nothing went as we planned. Oh, and by the way, we do have a heater. I didn't want y'all to think we have a heater, but since we have a heat pump, there's certain times when you're not supposed to use a heat pump. That's why we were using our wood stove. So I didn't want y'all to be like, those people don't have a heater.
We do have a heat and air conditioner, and but the key is 1 inch of foam insulation.
Oh, that's important. Yeah.
But to give you back on the lumber, to give you a perspective on the lumber, the 2x4 we use, it's a 104 inch that provides a 9-foot ceiling. We started paying $3.50 a piece for. Well, at the height of the pandemic, it went up to $14, and we had to stop right there.
Yeah.
And so last year, it just so happened I had enough ammo to sell and stockpiled, and the price of ammo was going up, so I was able to sell ammo and buy the lumber to finish our first room. And
wow.
So that was done. And then let's see, last year, 2021, I watched the price of lumber starting in March, and it started softening. And by the summertime, it was down considerably. So we bought enough lumber to finish the frame on the rest of the house, and we did that in August. And so we spent, since Labor Day, we finished the walls, the ceiling, and with the lumber, because the most of the price was in the lumber, 2x4s, 2x6s. And so since then, over the course of the last few months, we finished the rest of the rooms, the 2 rooms. And so now all the rooms are finished, drywall, finished, painted.
Yeah, they have actual living rooms, and they love it.
Aww.
And the price of lumber is starting to go up again. So it was good timing.
Thank you, Jesus loving homesteader.
Yeah, I remember Dawn messaging me when she was so excited about the fact that the lumber prices were coming down.
It, there have been so many unexpected things, but I do want to say to you guys, we're certainly not doing a sob story. This process and this journey has made all of us so thankful. I have never been, I think before my parents brought me up to be, a thankful person, but I think there's so many things I took for granted. Water, heat, walls, and so now I cannot believe how much I take everything for granted. And the other thing is, I feel like it has taught me more than ever that these people in my life are what is important, and God and country.
So much more grateful to everything.
Yes, we are much more grateful. I have learned in my life that it's the people that are in your life and the love you have. What does it matter if I have the most beautiful house? And by the way, we came from a gated community with a 2-story house that Levi and Lily were born into before we went to the 10 acres. We had this beautiful house, and it had been my dream house. And then we had, I don't know if I can say this on air, the Obama years. And my husband almost lost his job because of everything that was going on. And we thought, let's downscale just to be safe. And that's when we went to the 1/3 of an acre. And it was hard. Without sounding selfish, I didn't want to give up the house. But now I feel happier than I did when I had this huge house in this gorgeous, neighborhood. And I just feel this peace because I'm where God wants me. And I want to give that to the kids, but I want to give people hope out here. If you can do it on your own. We're not special people. David is extremely skilled. Anything he puts his mind to, he can do. He'll look it up on YouTube and do it. But there was a lot of things we weren't aware of. We didn't know how to do. We looked it up. We set our mind and our heart to do it, and we did it. We may have failed, multiple times, but we got back up and did it. And we have, with the exception of our best friend, Chad Holland, Chad, you better be watching, who came and helped us. Most of our family lives, over an hour, some are out of state. But it was us, Chad, and God, and we have done it. And, and I'm not saying anything about us, but I'm saying if we can do it, anybody can do it.
It's true. And I mean, the mistakes you make, you don't make them again. You know what I mean? You just incorporate that right into your experience, which is a really cool thing.
You do. And I'm sad because people aren't passing this on today, and I will not say anything disrespectful about my parents, but we've lost this passing on the sewing and the canning. And I literally did not know any of those. I mean, my grandmother was a professional seamstress, but when I asked her to teach me how to sew, she said, "Oh, I'm over that. I don't want, and I'm just like, why are these things, not being passed down?"
Are you sure it wasn't my mother? It's like everybody laughs because I said I never canned before. And everybody goes, and I'm like, I grew up in New York City. We didn't can.
My family's from New York. That's funny.
I mean, we grew up in Queens. Nobody canned goods. You know what I mean? She didn't know how to do it. No one showed her how to do it,
Well, and David and I talk about this all the time, after the war, and then, everybody wanted their dishwasher and their washing machine. And that's a beautiful thing. Hey, I don't want to be out with
miss our dishwasher.
Yeah, we do not have a dishwasher. We do have a washer and dryer because, I'm not going old school, whatever, but, in the 50s, everybody wanted things ultra modern. And I understand after the wartime, people were wanting to move towards that kind of stuff. But I think they went a little too far, and they're just like, they didn't want to do anything. They wanted TV dinners. And so it's so funny. Sorry, sweetie. It's so funny that we're now kind of moving back, a lot of us, the other way. We want to get away from some of that. And for me, as David said, I had a major health scare. And so we started going to a natural physician that does just herbs and stuff. And she recommended that we do as much organic as possible. Sure, sweetie. And so this just was the right path for us,
Well, it's very impressive. It's very cool. It really is. I'm going to go to the chat real quick, just because I know a bunch of people jumped in and I don't like to ignore folks who are coming in. Excuse me. Hey, Zombie Prepper, welcome in. Hello, Life with Blinda and Chuck. Hey, Danny, Wicked Awesome Gardening. And earlier I said, Tommy, I hope you feel better. Pastime 84. Brenda Baker, hello, Little Creek Homestead. Homestead Family Reclaim.
I wonder if Chad's watching. He kind of acts like he might want.
I can text.
Hey, Carla, Living a Rogue Life. Hope you're doing well.
Give me your phone. I can text.
I think I got everybody. If I missed you, I'm going to apologize. Hey, Rich, Old Swedes Farm. A lot of people in here tonight. This is really exciting.
I'm sure it's not for us. I'm sure it's totally for you.
Hey, Rancho Magnolia, Miss Betty. Sorry, the chat goes really quick. Hello, the color drop. She said, amazing story.
Thank you.
Donna Alford, late but here. Well, welcome in, Donna. You're never late.
Miss Donna.
Donna's
hi, everybody. Donna just became a great grandma.
I know it. So cute. Good night, Nancy, our treasured home.
Bye, Nancy. Feel better.
Yeah, Carla, stay distracted. I totally get it. Poor thing. And Color Drop said, you are so inspiring. Isn't that nice?
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the encouragement from everyone.
Hello, Simply Jan. A little fish in the kitchen. Hello. Hi, Sandy, Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. Just almost done catching up with the chat here. Hey, Tom on the plant. Welcome in. Oh, there's a comment for you.
Great story. It's not the possessions that make life. Absolutely. Thank you, Old Swedes Farm. I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. You do realize what is important when you're kind of put in the fire, for sure.
So true. Hey, Stuart's prepping. Thanks for stopping in.
I agree. Our new land. Absolutely. Our kids are going to be able to go build their own houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. They'll be able to learn from the mistakes I made when they go to build their house.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And they'll have a skill set too.
That's right.
You see, Luke's going to be a mechanic. So here's what we're going to do. Luke, if you give us free mechanic work, we'll come be your indentured servants on your farm and help you build your house. Oh, I'm so nervous about Luke going out into the real world to be a mechanic.
I bet you are. At least you had a little bit of a desensitization of him going to school.
Yeah, absolutely. And he works at a wedding venue literally that hooks to another 40 behind our home. And so it's so neat. We actually hear him shuttling guests to weddings.
It's really neat that we got
cool.
Work that out, actually.
Yeah. You know, being a homeschool family, you know, and we try to give our kids, you know, a lot of experiences so they're not just, you know, thrown into the world. But it's different when you're with somebody day in and day out, you know, letting go a little bit. And this world, it'll eat you up. And they told him that at Votech. He had amazing, what do you call it? I just totally had a...
Like the counselors?
Yeah, the counselors. I couldn't think of the name. The principals and the counselors, they were amazing. They sat him down and they said, this world wants to chew you up and spit you out. And I was amazing. They just, they were very grounded. And they told him, they said, you know, stay on the right course. And so he's had a lot of good people in his life, you know, pointing him in the right direction. So
that's so cool. That's so cool. I am just going to finish up the chat because I hate to ignore people coming in. So
I hear you.
Hello, Artist in a Garden. Welcome in, and thank you, Blue Collar Homestead. Let's see.
Who said so? I know. I've seen your bank account.
I think I got everybody. I'm almost to the bottom. Aw. Rancho Magnolia said she's sitting here watching you guys with my boys.
Oh, how old are they?
Betty, how old are your boys? Oh, Rebecca Davis said she subscribed to you. Hey, Lazzie's Nest.
Thank you.
Hello, Susan's Ramblings. Hello, Kathleen, my Alabama Farm Life. Hey, LP. Hey, Daz, my Aussie Gardening Kitchen.
Hi, Daz. Hey, everybody.
I know it.
You want to miss it? It's like a full house tonight.
I know. There was 40 people in here a little while ago.
Yay.
And I'm almost to the bottom of the chat. Just wanted to...
See, they missed you.
Alicia said to you guys from Country Mama Musings. Hey, Hike with Mike. Betty's sons are 11, 9, and 5.
Oh, how sweet. Thank you, Country Mama.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just talking to Country Mama. I was agreeing with what she said. She said we had the expensive custom home and all the entanglements, got caught up in the housing crisis, and now in a 120-year-old farmhouse and couldn't be happier. I did not know that about you, Alicia. That's good to know some of your backstory. Wow.
Isn't that cool?
I know a lot of people just like us, so we're certainly not unique. I think the only thing about us that may be unique, and if anybody in the chat room has had this, we are the only people I've ever known who have actually lived in our house as we've done it. Most everybody's like in an RV or an apartment, condo, whatever. I personally, every time I meet somebody who knows what we're doing, they're like, you live in your house as you're doing it. And I'm like, yeah, we're those crazy people. No.
we actually had considered getting an RV and living in it while we built. And it worked out better that we did not because of the price of lumber and the delay, we would still be in that thing. And so if we thought things were tight now, it would have been obviously a lot tighter in an RV. But the biggest challenge now, what we're doing is moving things constantly,
Mhm.
shifting things around and making things livable. And well, y'all saw with the moving the beds out in the living room and just constantly shifting things around. But it's really improved now, getting the bedrooms done. So getting all the beds up and the kids' things put in their room
Yep.
was probably the biggest single improvement.
Every time we complete something and we can move those things in, it's kind of like the adult version of Tetris. It's like, yay.
Yeah.
And then other stuff can move in its place. But we're actually on the heels of moving stuff again, because my Christmas present was he got a bonus and he's building a walk-in pantry for us. And so
Nice.
So now we're kind of moving all the stuff that's in the area where the pantry is going to be back here. And so as excited as I am about it, I don't know why every time we have to move stuff, I become very anxious, because I need to know where things are. I have a place for everything. And God has taught me in the last 3 years that, you got to let go sometimes. And in many ways, it's been a learning process. I'm learning to lighten up on some things. Let's say that.
Yeah. And it's hard because, a lot of that whole RV thing, I couldn't agree with you more. I know that we bought a very small, old, used camper when what was it, about a year and a half ago? And we had some experiences with it. Now, mind you, it was very old, so we totally get it, like they leak and all that. But when I did some research, I learned a lot about how brand new RVs leak. And have you seen the price of them?
Yes.
And so I couldn't agree with you more, because I would sooner live in a shipping container that needs to be finished before I live in an RV.
Yeah.
Because the price of RVs is just so astronomical.
Right.
It is.
Some of them, it's like a mortgage payment. I mean, for me, because I'm cheap.
That's another reason why we went the other route, because we were able to spend that money and to finish a minimum, your kitchen, your utility room, actually kitchenette, utility room, and just have the basic essentials, and then which is what we ended up doing.
Yeah. They all leak. That's so funny. I've never had an RV, so what is this leaking?
Well, what happens is you ever see it where people build shelters over them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of them do that to prevent the leaking, right? Because what ends up happening is it gets in through the top and leaks, and it goes down in between the walls.
Oh, you mean leaking inside? I thought you meant they were like leaking a fluid.
No, leaking in between the wall and the siding, and so you don't know it's happening.
Oh, that's terrible.
But they separate from the bottom of their frame from that, because it starts to rot away. And when I was looking into the issue, I found a whole bunch of people who were saying they were still paying for their RVs, and they were having that problem a year in.
Oh, wow.
And I thought to myself, that's insane.
That's too scary. And we had considered doing an actual trailer. The first couple of years when we were newlyweds, long time ago, we had gotten a trailer, and we had 5 acres, and we were so young, and we were not even ready for land back then. Long story short, we ended up just buying a house before long. But I remember, not for us, I have nothing bad to say about trailers, but it was not for us. And I would hear mice, and David made sure the thing was solid. It was a brand stinking new trailer, but we could hear like mice crawling in the ducts, and we would get a swarm of wasps. Don't know how, they'd find their way in. We'd have a swarm of roaches. They'd find their way in. And I'm just like, this thing, it's just like a box. It was letting everything, for me personally, it didn't work, but I have friends that it does work for. And we did consider a trailer, but when we looked at the prices, which again, everything is astronomical, versus what David and the boys could do, and just saving and only doing things when we had money, for us, our whole place will be paid off in like what is the time frame? I'm forgetting now.
The house, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the
Wow.
land is a little longer, but
12.
not bad. 12.
It'll all pay off.
But yeah, it's just amazing. And I have
Mhm.
friends who are just now, they've got a 25-year mortgage. So, and the goal is every time we have more money, pay. I love to pay extra, when we can.
Yeah.
But right now, everything is just about building and, for us, and I think he mentioned this, but he didn't go real in depth. The builder put in the first layer of the insulation, the spray foam, and that's what they promise you. Well, after that, you come in with that second, what's it called? The pink stuff.
Yeah, the fiberglass.
Yeah.
The 1 inch, that's their closed foam. That's kind of
Mhm.
like a moisture barrier.
Yep.
Not meant for heat.
Right.
R value.
Right. So that's why we have to always kind of, if it's super cold, keep the wood stove going. But he's been going in and, we buy it as we complete a room. We put in the insulation. So we're finding that we're keeping heat in here better now, the more that we're putting in. So, but that first year, and we had something happen that we didn't expect, that the builder didn't talk about, was, and my whole life I've lived in like a brick home. So this was
Yep.
a non-issue. Living in a steel home, condensation.
Yeah.
Had
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea. And so one day we're sitting out there and Levi or someone is like, the house is leaking on me. And we're like, what? This is a brand new house. How could it? I mean, I'm flipping
Yeah.
out. I'm thinking the roof is leaking and it's a brand new house, but it was not leaking. It's the way things work in a metal home with the
Mhm.
heating and the cooling is,
And there's no ventilation.
Right.
And the builder told me you need to get a dehumidifier because we couldn't have vents up top because we would have this outside air just coming into our living space.
Mhm.
And so you can do that if you have a dehumidifier, which we didn't get. We thought, I guess we don't need it,
Mhm.
But yeah, we turned on the heater for the first time, or the fireplace for the first time, and happened to be humid. And it was actually like rain, just drops
Oh,
drops
jeez.
here and there of rain. And
it was crazy.
so, yeah, now we have our dehumidifier.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
does we rarely get
Yeah.
much of that. And it's very important if you live in a steel frame home, and for anyone who's thinking about it, that you get that dehumidifier, because most of your builders do not vent a steel frame home. And I have a friend who used to build them, and he said he doesn't recommend it. For what like on a regular home, how you have the little turbine things at the top.
Mhm.
They don't generally do that in a steel home. It's just the nature of it. And you can come through and do it. But since everybody told us not to, we haven't. And but you just do need to have a dehumidifier, because if you don't, your metal could eventually rust, and that's like
Right.
cancer. That'd be house cancer.
And by the way,
Yeah.
when we get the ceilings done, a lot of that will be alleviated.
Yeah, alleviated. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Just
Hey,
one
Barb.
step at a time. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Don.
No, I just said one step at a time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's the blessing though, right? You learned about that before, anything got ruined,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's the important part. Hey, Barb's Country Home, welcome in. Hey, Casey Ormsby Farm. Hello, Philip, Arizona Kid. Hey, Nathan Brookshire. Charles, Fallen Arkansas Veterans. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, please don't yell at me. I'm out of practice. Good night, Hagen Jaws.
Bye, Caleb.
Going hunting at 5 a.m.
Oh no. Be safe.
So hey, Joy Bless Life. So why don't you talk to people about your channel if they have not seen your channel? What can they expect?
Well, you want me to go, Daddy?
Sure.
On our channel, you're going to see a wide variety of things. Obviously, started it as kind of a homestead channel, but every once in a while I might do something like put a video about Transformers for my kids. They love old school.
You want to do a cameo?
Yes. So she's going to do a cameo of her Transformer.
Starscream and Bumblebee.
Starscream and Bumblebee. My kids are obsessed with old school Transformers.
And
Cyberverse. Okay.
That's so
but
cool.
Primarily, homesteading stuff. I put stuff about the Lord. I'm into herbs and natural healing through, vitamins and herbs and supplements. And I might talk about that sometimes. And basically, I like to chronicle the building of the house because I just felt like it wasn't something I planned on. And then one day I just did it. And David was like, wow, you just videoed the whole inside of our house. Because I don't want to sound vain, but I'm super proud of this journey, but I was somewhat apprehensive to share it.
Gotcha.
Not so much with people I don't know, but I was a little nervous of sharing it with some family. Some family aren't 100% on board with some of the things we're doing. They're just like, oh, go buy a house. What do you want all that land for? But what does that say? I don't know. But anyways, if you're not into homesteading, it doesn't make sense to you, and so, but anyways, what was
and
it?
If you have the money to do all this and have it done, that's great. It didn't work out for us, but we've enjoyed doing this together as a family and, and just learning patience. So it's been good.
It had
for us.
Yeah. And, as I think I said earlier, we had planned. Oh, yay, Des! Old school Transformers. Woo! But we planned on having most of it done and we had the money for it. God had other plans. And, I was discouraged at first. But, it is what it is. And, this is how it's gone. This is our journey in life. And we have to take it a day at a time, but there's been so many blessings out of it. And what was the original question? Because I may have strayed off.
No, you did just fine.
You expect to see it.
Yeah.
Good night, off the wall prepper.
You're going to see a family loving each other. I hope that comes across. I hope you see us loving each other and loving God and loving the animals and the earth. That's what's important to us. And if you like that, head on over to DB Acres Homestead.
There you go. And actually here, Carla must have hit the enter button too quick. So if that makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I actually, I won't share too much of my testimony, but, and I always say this because some people are somewhat offended by this. I don't want you to be offended. I want you to know that this was my journey, but I actually had a very bad cancerous tumor. I don't share it with a lot of people because some people who have chosen to go the chemo and radiation therapy way, and that's fine. That's your journey. That wasn't for me because I'd seen a lot of family members have issues with that, primarily David's mom, and it ravaged her body. She did not live a good life until she died after that because she was so ravaged. I was 100% cured through prayer and herbs. So,
wow.
And I am that was 6-7 years ago.
Right.
And that's kind of what got us on a different path too. And now I primarily eat organic just because we're scared for me not to.
Wow.
The family, they're going to go off track a little bit, but we try to keep me on the cleanest diet possible. But I am 100% healthy. I've never had cancer or anything else again. When we go to the doctor and the naturopath, they can't find anything wrong with me. And I'm grateful. And but that was, that's my path. And I believe. And there's a lot of great things. I believe in vitamin C. And so there's a lot of great things out there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's good to hear. I'm glad.
Yep. There's, you do your research. We don't go into anything without doing our research. And so we did a lot of research. And I guess primarily I do want to state for this, the reason why we went that way was we kept getting misdiagnosed and misinformation. And so a friend of ours who'd had a similar problem, she said, I want to introduce you to somebody. Yeah. And I met this natural physician and it changed my life.
Wow.
And ultimately got us on the course we're on now. So I don't believe there's any accidents, I believe I got sick to bring us to where we are now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's just, sometimes you go down a path and like you said, that frustration of being misdiagnosed and all that is just, And
the biggest problem was they said, you're okay. We don't see any problem. And but we knew there was a problem. And so it was a journey. And it's interesting thing is we we've seen the word Bible, or I'm sorry, medicine in the Bible. And we thought, well, that's interesting. 2,000 years, what do they know about medicine? Well, they didn't have the synthetics, the modern pharmaceuticals, but they did have herbs. They had oils.
Yeah.
They had food.
Let food be thy medicine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that started that new journey for us, and we were very excited.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing, like everybody has a different journey, and for some people, some things work, and for others, something else works.
Absolutely. And I would never, that's between you and God. That's not between me, for me to say what you should do. And I don't ever, if someone comes to me for advice and what would I do, I'll tell you what I would do, what works for me. But I certainly never, that's a very personal decision. And it actually took me a while to come to that decision. I was faced with a life or death situation, and I wanted to go a different path, and I felt really good about it. I was scared at first, but
Sure.
Yeah.
And as a result, we've been able to help a lot of other people. I've sent people, to this special physician, and I've been able to tell people what I've taken, and it's helped them. So, everything for a reason.
It's a chain reaction kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so we've asked you a bunch of questions. I know that it's late by you, so I wanted to give you the opportunity. Like if you needed to go, because I know it's late and you have a family. If not, I was going to ask if it was all right if we offered for some folks to come up and.
I'm a night owl, so it's not going to bother me. David may.
I already had my nap, so I'm good.
You're
right.
good. Okay.
We're
Well,
here.
if at any point you have to go, because we usually go about 2 hours, but I don't want to take up your time.
No, it works
Because
for
I know
me.
that the time difference is challenging.
That's not a problem.
So just, speak up, but I'll just let me throw the link out there if anybody wants to come up, and I will give you guys the rules as per always. Please be appropriate. I need to see you, know who you are, no shenanigans, or I will take you down.
She was saying some weird stuff was happening on some channels. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just make sure that I know the person that's coming up, and then I can see them face to face. But if anybody wants to come up and say hello and ask some questions or talk about their channel too, that would be great. We'll give people a minute because they all have to think about if they want to come up, do their hair.
Let me go put on some lipstick. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I'm sitting here with 2 glasses of water.
Oh my goodness. You're going to have to go to the bathroom.
I know. Do you follow Lazzie's Nest on Instagram?
Hi, Lazy's Nest. I didn't know you were on here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she's here.
Yay, I hope you're feeling better. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Lisa?
She was saying, I feel like I was supposed to tune in tonight, so that's a good sign.
Yay.
All right, so we've got Carla is here.
Hi.
Hello.
And we've got Rebecca. Hello.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi.
Thank you.
I only wanted to come up for just a moment. Just a quick thing to say. I'm not familiar with DB Acres Homestead. And I was actually headed to another live, and I saw Lisa was live, and I'm like, I miss my Monday live mornings with Lisa. So I couldn't pass it up if you're live. But the last couple comments that you were making about your change and your choice and doing the more holistic and dealing with your cancer situation, your private. I've been breaking down, just like exploding externally, and Lisa's a witness to that. I'm going through a whole lot of dealing with cancer right now. And I have a history of family cancer, and I've seen what they've gone through. But when I found these rainforest herbs, I'm like, I don't know how to put it out to the public without feel like I'm pushing it. So I kind of just go, this is what I found.
Right.
I was actually supposed to be having surgery today, but my doctor came down with the ninja virus. Mm-hmm. So I'm put off for 2 more weeks. But
no accidents. That's probably meant for a reason.
Well, and what I mentioned last night, I think Lisa was on a same live as and I mentioned last night, she was encouraging me, and I said, I'm just looking at it as I'm so fearful. I'm looking at it as God has just given me this grace period to deal with my own fear.
Right. Yes,
Of the
absolutely.
situation. You know, it's like he's not forcing me into it. I was going to do it anyway, but I was terrified, like screaming, terrified, breaking down. And I
Sure.
just feel like God just said, okay, I'll make your doctor sick until you can come to terms with it.
Sure.
He's giving me a window to adjust, and it somehow, oddly enough, it felt comforting.
Well, sure. Carla, we're going to pray for you tonight, okay?
I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am battling fear, and Lisa, every time I blow up online at night, Lisa's always there. She pops in.
Ronald, you're going to need to turn that down.
No, calm down. You got this. You're okay. We love you. And I just wanted to come up and say, Lisa, I love you more than you know.
I love you too.
Oh, everybody
I
knows
love you too.
I love you too. And I want to send Diesel a quilting project. Is that okay? What's his
Yes.
favorite color?
Diesel's favorite color?
Yeah.
What color
Well, I
does he
can't say
need?
purple because Rebecca will out me and say that's my favorite color. So
But every time you lay down
Whatever.
Diesel, blue,
Diesel's a blue guy,
I guess. Blue or red. I you know,
or whatever you lay down on the floor.
pretty much.
All right, guys, listen, I just wanted to come up and say I was touched by what you had to say, Dawn. Really.
Thank you so much, Carla. Don't give up. And let me tell you,
never.
God loves you, and he's already in tomorrow. He knows what's going on. Okay.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. So I lost an uncle, a niece, an aunt, a mother, a grandmother, a brother, all to cancer. My father, all to cancer. So I kind of see what they've all gone through.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I'm now it's mine.
Right. Well, Carla, go follow me so that we can talk. That's not why I want you to follow me, but let's talk. And
Yes,
I'm going to tell you the top 3 herbs that I took that helped me. Okay.
Well, I've been doing, that's what I mentioned in the comments, the rainforest herbs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine who had stage 4 liver cancer, who was told he had less than 6 months to live. That was inoperable. He got on the rainforest herbs, and this is 4 years ago.
That's amazing.
He's still here.
Wow.
He's still here, but didn't make it better. I mean, he's still battling it, but yeah. So I'm kind of in that boat of just take them every day and live by it. But when you try to mention it on Facebook or any place, you get shut down.
Of course.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of tricky about how you say things. And
Exactly.
And that's why,
I just wanted to come up and say, to come up and say thank you to Lisa because I love you so much.
Oh, thank
And
you. I love you
and
too.
Diesel and your family, and the pigs. Don't forget.
I want you to know everybody in the chat has just been go back in and read the chat. It was
I
very
can't see
sweet.
chat, but
When you go back down, look at it because it was beautiful. Everybody was giving you prayers.
no, I need them so much. You guys
nice to meet you, Carla.
Nice to meet you too. Peace out. Love you guys.
Bye, Carla.
I'm gonna step out if I figure out how. Kick me out, Lisa.
Hit the here you go.
Take me out. Hi, Rebecca.
They have no idea who I am. I am the lady that sends hats to YouTubers.
Oh, wow.
I will be starting a channel. When I get on one of your things, I'm going to ask you what color you want for each one of your family members.
Oh.
And I make knitted hats out of looms.
Wow.
I will get one to show them. Lindsay, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, because I couldn't see you. I just wanted to make sure it was you.
Yes. Yeah, it's me.
Yeah. You know, I just
Sorry.
Lindsay, hi.
eventually I'll be starting a channel and getting that taken care of. I don't know Arizona Kid.
You don't know Arizona Kid? Oh, we need to talk.
He's on like every single live ever.
I know.
Let me get the hat.
Your hat is being made.
Oh, so you like making hats? That's awesome.
I do.
Wonderful. Keeps you busy, huh?
Yes, it does. It certainly does. And, but yeah, I've got to make 2 more hats for Arizona and send them out.
I've seen you with that hat before. Yeah, I didn't know it came from her. That's neat. Nice job.
Yes, it came from me.
Hi, Lindsay. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Look at you, Lindsay.
Through.
Danny.
Getting through. I figured, I was like, oh, I don't want to seem weird. I should turn on my light.
Well, you have clothes on. That's all that I'm worried about.
I'm
We'll just leave it at that because Lily's
It's really
here.
sad that you have to say that.
Yeah.
We do.
No, your hat,
quick.
Danny, your hat is done. Just got to email you so I can get your address.
Yay.
But it is finished, and I'm getting 1 more made for someone else, and then 2 more for somebody else, and shipping them all out. I hope tomorrow, but they're saying we're supposed to get ice here tomorrow, and I'm like, no, I want to get out.
I don't blame
You
you.
know,
I don't blame you.
It may end up that I don't, and it will be Monday then when I ship them off.
Hey, Fugate Farms, welcome in. Hey, Melody, bake a leg and let's dig it. No worries at all. There's no such thing as late. We're chatting with DB Acres and friends. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else in the chat. Hi, Nancy.
Say gas prices in Texas are amazing. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Wow. So the last place I got up in California, it was I think like 290. No, I'm sorry. It was like 597 or like 598.
Ooh.
And that was the last place with the border. And I just passed somewhere, and it was like, I think it was like 270. And I'm like doing cartwheels. I'm so excited. I like pulled over and I got a picture. And I sent Alex, and I was like, this is amazing. I was like, it's literally more than $3 cheaper than the last place I gassed up in California. I just had to interject and say, like, that was very touching.
That's really cool. That's really cool. How much longer before you reach your destination for tonight?
It's probably just another like 30 minutes.
Good.
Some really good friends of mine that used to live in Iowa moved to California, also left California, and they now live in Texas. And they were like, I didn't know which part they lived in, and they were like, hey, you're going to be like 10 minutes away, just like come stay at our house. So I'm going to stay there tonight and tomorrow night and just kind of relax and then like keep working my way up to Iowa. So
Now, are you fixing to see that doctor, or the specialized doctor?
yeah, so I'm a functional medicine doctor in Colorado, and I was starting the treatment for Lyme, but my reactions were really, really severe. I didn't really talk about how, like, the more of the detailed side of it really on Instagram. I haven't really talked about like the painful side and more of the symptom side and some of that stuff. But the day before yesterday, it was too painful for me to leave Flagstaff, so I just kind of hung out and had the reactions. Well, I guess it turns out that I was having what's called a Herx die-off, which is
Yes, I've had that.
Have you?
It's
Okay.
it's almost
So
worse than the actual
feeling.
disease sometimes.
Yes. And
Wow.
I wrote him an email, and I was like, look, I don't know how I can make it, a couple hours farther in the car right now because I'm reacting so poorly. So he's like, okay. Like, and I was like, I don't have Alex with me because he's already used all of his sick days to take care of me in California. And, I told him, I was like, I'm kind of just not really able to do this and, go through this, the die-off symptoms. So, which, for you guys that don't know, it's pretty intense, to say the least. And you get from both antibiotic treatment, which I'm too far in the game to have. I've had it for a long time. We just found out. And I am in flare, basically. And you also get it with really strong medicinal herbs, as well as, like, in my case right now was oregano oil. It was working good, and then I started to feel like death turned over. So he said, let's hold off. We need to get to Iowa And then he gave me a B vitamin supplement, a B complex supplement, and he like drink a lot of water, try to rest, and once you get to Iowa, then we'll start, where you can physically handle the die-off symptoms, and we'll go from there. So,
Aw.
Dawn, with Herc's die-off, did you have Lyme too?
No, anytime you're going into a new type of lifestyle like herbs and things like that, and it's something you haven't done before, and I was juicing, I was doing herbs, supplements, and then I began eating a whole food diet, going from eating a standard American diet to eating now 100% natural. You have what's called, I wasn't prepared to talk about this, so I'm going to forget. I can't think of what it is, but it's a die-off to where from stuff that's in herbicides and pesticides in our food, that gets in your system, and you're purging a lot of that out. You're basically cleaning your system out, and you think it's going to be all great, and you don't realize that you're actually going to feel like you have the flu symptoms.
It's a type of detox.
Yeah, it's like a detox, and you do have to take it slow, but sometimes it can actually feel worse than the thing that you have. And I did go through a little of that.
Right.
And so, like she said, just tons of water and rest. And we totally underestimate how important rest is. And I found that out.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It is. We're all dealing with something.
Certainly is.
No kidding. No kidding. Does anybody have any questions for DB Acres while they're up here? I just want to make sure, because again, I want to be respectful, excuse me.
We think you're responsible.
What are the animals that you have on your land?
Good
We
night,
have
Jamie.
Levi, is it 17 chickens and a rooster? I always forget how many chickens.
13 black.
Oh.
Yeah, 17.
17 hens, 1 rooster. We have, is it 7 ducks? And 7.
No, not 7.
How many ducks?
Yeah.
Oh, 8 ducks. No, 9 ducks. Oh,
Uneven 9.
9 ducks. I'm sorry. We just got a rescue duck. So I lost count. But yes. So right now it's chickens and ducks. And then in the spring, hogs.
Oh,
So-
okay.
The hogs that you plan to get are the Kuni pigs.
That so far, that's what I think.
We think.
They're slow grow outs.
What's that?
They're a very slow grow out.
Yeah.
That's why we're still thinking about it. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people like the commercial hogs because they're quick and dirty, for lack of a better term.
Sure.
In that you get them in the spring, they're gone by October, November. You don't have to overwinter them, which makes life a lot easier for many people.
Right.
Whereas, if you're raising for meat, that's something to consider, because you saw what I had to do with my pigs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bag of shavings every time it's going to be below 0. I don't do it every day per se, but what I'm saying is say I do it on Saturday because it's below 0 and I give them new bedding. Then 2 weeks goes by and we have below 0 again. I'll give them another bag then, because they smash it down. So it just helps to keep them warm.
Wow.
So
Belly Acres, not yet. To answer her question. With the whole animal thing, we're trying to be so smart about it. And even as you can see with the chickens, we've kind of changed over a little to going a little more towards ducks because it's going to meet our needs better. It's just such a learning process, and there's no really one right way. There's a lot of people I follow and I've gleaned good things from them. David's got a lot of people he'll follow on social media, and you learn from their journey, but ultimately you have to kind of tailor it to what you need. But I feel like I'm learning every day.
Well, in fact, we went from almost 40 chickens, and we have sold some, and switching to ducks. Now we'll never get rid of all of our chickens, but it's been a series of adjustments along the way.
Yeah.
Too.
The ducks are a little more cost effective for us in that our pecans will set out food, and all they want to do, even when the grass is brown, is they just want to eat grass. I mean, the grass was frozen today, and brown, and they were begging to go out and eat it. I couldn't get them away from it to go eat their feed. And it's just funny. So ducks really supplement a lot of their, especially specific ducks like woodland ducks. They will, they want to do a lot of foraging, and that can be very cost effective. And that's for us. If times get much more harder, which I'm sorry, I see that coming down the line. We're just trying to go as cost effective as possible. We want our animals, working for us as good as possible.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Interesting.
The one thing, some of the tips that I would say is that you have a milder winter, but when it comes to feed, I know that buying pallets of feed is a lot cheaper than by the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I saved almost $3 a bag buying it by the pallet. The storage is a pain.
It is. Yeah, we actually just made a power buy.
And I was talking to the feed store today because I was talking about the 1-ton super sacks, and then we would have to put it in barrels because of the storage issue. And they enlightened me and told me that whether I buy a pallet of bags, which is a ton, or a super sack, it's the same price.
Okay, so it's more convenient to have the bags. Is that right?
Storage wise, for me, it's better to have the bags because I don't have to take the entire super sack in one day and shovel it into barrels, excuse me, and all that stuff and worry about mice.
Right.
But apparently, even nowadays, the super sack and all that, you have to buy a new one each time.
Okay.
They won't let you recycle it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. We've also found that sprouting is, it's a little hard in the winter if it freezes, but even when we've been down to 30 and 40, I've got my stuff is sprouting really good outdoors. So we've started a huge bucket sprouting system outside, and super good for the animals. And you're taking one little seed and sprouting it huge. And so in some cases, I was quadrupling our food for free. And so I'm just trying to think smarter, just because, I'm tired of paying high prices.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Anybody else have any questions for DB Acres? And Sandy, I just responded to you in the chat.
I've got a question.
I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Bye, Rebecca. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Nice to have
Bye.
met you.
Nice to meet you too.
What were you saying, Lindsay?
I just had a question about your ducks. I know we've talked
Sure.
a little bit privately about ducks before, and that you kind of prefer them for some reasons. Excuse me. I've always had chickens, growing up and whatnot, but I'd never ventured into ducks, and I kind of want to, mostly for the nutritional content of
Right.
the eggs.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's kind of really piqued my interest the most. And I feel like people that have had both chickens and ducks have a very well formed opinion on which one they like better.
Sure.
And I was wondering, how do I want to word this? Which one do you feel like is easier to take care of overall, and why? Like, which one's less maintenance, I guess.
Let's
Is
see
what
what
I'm
you think.
asking. Like,
That's a good question, because, by the way, I prefer chickens. You can get a chicken to jump in your lap before a duck.
Yeah.
Right.
Ducks tend to be more healthy. You're going to have things on a chicken that you're not going to have on a duck. For example, what was that thing?
Merrick's disease,
What was that insect?
Oh
Was
yeah,
that
there's
Yeah,
the
mites.
mites. There's the I can't think of that other. They
Lice?
get chicken lice.
lice.
You know,
It was.
there's a lot of various
Although
different
ducks
things.
don't jump on
Yeah.
like your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. But the ducks, they need water. Of course, chickens need water too, but the ducks need more water.
Mm-hmm.
The Pekin duck goes from chick to full grown, big, 10,
Huge.
12-pound animal
Yeah.
in 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So in terms of meat,
Yeah, we were
it's-
shocked.
Yes, we couldn't believe it. That's one reason why we're shifting. Now we'll always keep chickens, but that's one reason why we're shifting to keep more ducks.
Yeah.
And the eggs they're producing a lot of eggs now.
Yeah, we're shocked. Even when they are going through a molt. Now, ducks will stop a little. Our pecans, they weren't real hindered by molting. They primarily kept laying. Our khaki Campbell has laid off laying a little with her molt. It seemed to affect her more, but there's, it's kind of the equal pros and cons. But for me, the little bit more disease resistant, there's very few things. You have to look at things. They will get bumblefoot, so you have to make sure their area, there's not a lot of junk outside. We keep their pen very, very clear. They need grit, just like a chicken does. So they have to have that grit to help them digest their food. Most people say it's stressful when they're babies. They're super, super cute. But if you give them a little bowl of water, it becomes a pool. They're going to be in it playing. And so you have to kind of come up with a system that's not going to rot. And when we got ours, we had a huge brooder that my husband had made. And we really quick realized that they were going to rot out that brooder. And so moving forward, he's going to build kind of a metal mesh. And then we're going to put like hay on the bottom to where the water falls through, and we'll have it protected around so they can't get too cold or warm. But you need something to where the water kind of falls through, because they're maniacs with water, but that's how they are, and they're not as loving as a chicken, but they can be, they can be sweet, but they're not going to ever jump on your lap like I know yours do. And, settle down, Giggles. But yeah, but I love them. I love them both. I think moving forward, want to have them both, but we are just going to have a few more ducks because, like Lindsay said, the eggs are extremely nutritious. Our eggs are huge. The pecan eggs are huge. Our khaki Campbell, it's about the same size as a chicken egg, but your pecans are huge. Eggs. So
it basically depends on what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
For meat, the duck is by far more efficient than the chicken, and in fact, the eggs are actually very impressive.
Yeah.
The egg output, but just the water, I would say, is the biggest issue.
I will say this, and we're going to have to do an adjustment on the duck house. The duck house is almost like a perfect square, and so the pecans, they're very possessive about their eggs. They kind of hide them under a bunch of hay. And so I do not, in 10-degree weather, want to crawl in a nasty old poopy duck house and dig eggs.
And the eggshells are nasty.
They are.
Oh, they
They're
poop
nasty.
all over. Yeah. I don't know why, but there's always black poo on all the eggs.
Ducks are so messy.
I don't know why. Our chicken eggs are always
their
clean.
nature. They just can't help it.
Yeah, we had the brooder. We had a brooder that's a truck box. So, we have it on 2 sawhorses and all that. And, we did that for the chickens. And then we had the ducks this year. Excuse me. And we had the ducks. And it was so funny because I was in there and I took, like a dustpan. And it was I just cleaned it out. And the next day I was like, there's so much water in here.
It is. It's crazy. And you just have to, once they're over 6 weeks, it's great because then you can put them out into a different yard. We had them in a yard and we had them in a duck house. And then when they got in water, it just goes down into the rocks, and it's not a big deal. And freehand. Oh, you want to tell him? Levi wants to answer Freehandly's question. How different do duck eggs taste versus chicken eggs?
They're richer.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Duck eggs versus chicken eggs are richer, Levi said, for Freehandly.
Yep.
Occasionally there's this thing, a taste called omega. And sometimes it can taste somewhat fishy. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's an omega oil that is a little more prevalent in some of the duck eggs.
Wow.
So that's one thing but it's more, it's better for you, but some people might think that that's a little off compared to a chicken egg, which is more bland.
Yep.
but that's one thing they might notice.
A homesteader 2 days ago said to me, "How can you eat all those duck eggs?" She said she just thought they were disgusting. So it's definitely, each person's different. So
They eat so healthy. All that grass.
Yeah.
Healthy
yeah, it's a healthy egg because they're eating so much grass,
nutrition.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people I've heard who can't tolerate chicken eggs eat duck eggs and they do better.
Isn't that amazing? Wow.
I don't know what that is. I've not tried it, but I struggle sometimes with tolerating eggs. It's hit or miss.
Right.
The cholesterol is more. If you look at the nutrition, information, then it's higher in cholesterol. But that's a word that is that you have to be subjective to.
Yep.
It's a word that means different things to different people. We eat well over a dozen eggs a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we're not concerned about certain things that's being hyped up in various things. But anyway,
we've kind of moved to a more traditional diet like they did a long time ago. And I feel like for us, it works. We do coconut oil. I believe in good old fashioned lard that's from an organically raised animal. So when you look at things kind of the traditional way, it's very healthy for your body. A lot of that is being demonized these days. Yep. And I feel like it's really got a bad rap. His dad was told after he had to get his heart transplant, don't eat eggs and don't do this and don't do that. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, civilizations were raised on eggs, and it's crazy and don't eat meat. But hey, again, I do say to each his or her own. But for us, we're trying to have a more traditional, how people did it,
No problem. Good night, Sandy. Thanks for being here. And Nisi, I totally get it. I get severe pains in my stomach sometimes. It's here and there. Anybody in the chat have questions for DB Acres I wanted to talk to Danny too, because we've not heard from you. What's going on with you?
I just waited 2 hours for a pizza.
And it came.
Was it free?
Yeah, was it free?
No. They're dealing with like extreme staffing shortages, and I understand that. We just had a snowstorm, so if they take a while to deliver it, that's fine.
that better be a good pizza.
Yeah, it's 2 hours old.
That's all right.
It's nice and warm.
That's good. That's good.
They held it off until it was ready till they had somebody to deliver it. So hey, I'm just munching on the pepperoni. But I am doing okay. I got my room painted, so you get a preview of how pretty it is. It had really horrendous fake wood paneling.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good night, Carla. That's awesome.
So I'm just here for anybody who doesn't know me. Hi, guys. I just lost my garden and my apartment that had beautiful garden space, and had to move back in with my parents because the landlord sold the building. So I'm back here and here to save some money because the next time I move, it's my own place. It's my homestead, my garden, my whatever. And so I'm making over this space a little bit. It's the upstairs of my parents' house that nobody's really been in for 10 years. So it's very dirty and dated and full of junk. And so I'm, making it look really nice. So there's going to be kind of a before and the beginning progress video coming up this week. But then once I get a couple things set up here, I'm going to have my little thermometer on the wall as I start saving. And
that's awesome.
Along. Yes, I got the giant crimson tomato seeds.
That's exciting.
Yes, I am raffling those off when I hit my 4,000 watch hours. So if anybody has been following the Am I Gardener,
I want to move back home. Oh.
No, you don't.
Don't do it.
We've been there, so we understand.
We had to move in with a grandmother when we were waiting on a house to close, and let's just say it was rough.
I also work in real estate, so I have a lot of people that get in that position, like that in between. So
you saving up for a homestead?
yes.
Awesome.
Yep. Just for affordability reasons, I'm probably looking at like upstate New York, somewhere where I can buy a house, even if it's a real fixer. Like I'm pretty handy. You know, I can do quite a lot on my own. So, you know, if I can save up and buy cash for like 50 grand, you know, 50,000, something like that, that's what I'm going to do. That's the plan.
Well, good. Yeah.
So it'll take a while. Welcome back. But yeah, I have an extra pack of the MI Gardner giant crimson tomato seeds, and I'm going to be giving those away.
You got to get going.
By 4,000.
You leaving, Lindsay, or are you back? I couldn't hear what she said.
It's cutting out pretty
she might have.
bad. Sorry, I don't know if I'm talking over anyone. It's cutting out horribly, but I'm gonna.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
peace out.
Okay, nice to
Be
see
safe.
you.
I love you guys.
Feel
I
better.
need everyone now.
Be safe, okay?
Yes, be careful.
Oh, poor thing.
I think I actually might jump off as well because, like, I'm starving and I want to like house this pizza. And you guys don't need to see that.
Lily wants to say goodnight. She's going to go get ready for bed. Thanks for having her.
Well, can I ask her one question? Danny, you
Absolutely.
get going. I'm going to ask Lily a question. Thank you. So, Lily, tell me just what do you think about all the stuff that you're doing on the homestead with the animals?
I absolutely love it. I've learned so much. I mean, we've all drawn closer to God, to our family. I'm just loving it. I didn't think I'd love it as much as I thought, as much as I am now, as much as I thought I would, but I am absolutely loving it.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. You guys are awesome.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
We've been so blessed by just, you know, all the encouragement and all the connections. We all say it. The homesteading community is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's blown me away. You know, I got some encouragement from places I didn't expect it when we were going through all this. And it's been just a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it really is mind blowing. I will tell you that. Good night, Belly Acres. So how about for you, Levi?
You mean the homestead thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just what do you think about everything you and your family are doing?
I like it because we have the animals. I like that part. It's really fun. Although sometimes the house part's a little hard, but we have our rooms now, so that's nice.
They've been doing an awful lot of work.
Yes.
And
They have.
I appreciate that.
You know, we've had to depend on them in times where, you know, we might ask some friends to come over and they can't because they live so far. And normally you'd pay a contractor, and we just didn't have the money to do it. And they've always stepped up to the plate. Yeah. And they've given up free time. And, you know, and I said to them, I say, you know, it's so hard. We always try to make it up to them. We try to, you know, take them out to eat, do something special. Like somebody saw your fidget spinner. Thank you. But, you know, we can never repay them, but doing it together. Good to see you, Daz. It's something I, you know, can never thank them enough for doing that with us. And I want to return the favor someday. We want to help them build their houses and their garden and help them with their animals. So, you know, that's our dream, is to be able to give back to them. You know,
I think that you're giving them much more than they will ever know. You know, I mean, the fact that, I mean, obviously they're being raised, you know, with their family and all the family time and all the obvious stuff, right? Then you have the stuff that, you know, they're going to take with them as they go out into the world with their own families, and build houses and all that stuff. So I just think it's amazing. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I just love that you're always spending time together. I think that's really just a beautiful thing.
Oh, we appreciate it. We're a tight-knit bunch. We just like being together, you know. We love it. You know, and sometimes I feel bad when they're having to, work a little harder when Lily and I are, doing something else, but we all put in our part. Lily and I may not be as strong and we may not be able to do certain things, but we do what we can on the farm, and we all try to get it done together. But, we all do it as a team. And I think someday we're going to look back and we're just going to be really thankful. Mm-hmm. And that I'm already there, but
it's true. It's true. I'm sorry. Were you saying something, Levi?
No.
Okay. I wanted to make sure. There's a delay sometimes. Good night. Thank you for being here.
You want to go this way?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. There you go, sweet pea.
Well, I mean, we're getting to the end, folks. Any other questions for our guests tonight? And if anybody wants to come up and ask questions or just type them in the chat, just let me know. But we've really enjoyed having you here tonight.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate it. Boy, it sure goes fast.
It does go fast. It does go fast.
It's amazing.
We have about 20 more minutes, but I'm not a stickler for time. But I'm just thrilled because it's been weird. I haven't been live on our Friday nights for 2 weeks. So it's kind of odd for me. Hey, Celtic Roots.
What's Ryan doing?
He is out cold. He is out cold. He has been working some really long hours and he's an early bedtime person.
That's David. Yeah.
Yeah. So the YouTube is my thing.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
how early is he up?
4 a.m.
That's David.
Yeah.
The same.
Bed at 8:30
or earlier.
Yeah, even better.
Or earlier.
That's why you and I are always up late at night on the computer.
Yeah. He's also been with his line of work, he's been outside a lot. And so with those cold temperatures, it's very draining when you're outside in the cold temperatures all day long.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So
10 minutes and I'm
for me.
Yeah, except for Levi. Levi can go outside 10 degrees. He runs like a little stove. Nothing, cold temperatures don't bother him.
Well, it's funny. The other day I had said when it's really cold, and I did a video that released this morning and I was like, it's 7 degrees. And I really put my jacket on just for YouTube, not for me. Because usually I just throw a hoodie and a vest on and I'm fine. God bless you.
Thank you.
But then, the days that it's warmer, I'm walking around and I had to put my coveralls on, and Sandy at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming had said it to me. She said, maybe it's because the humidity is higher on those days. So it's just weird.
Makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And we're very low here. They're in Oklahoma, Danny, Wicked Awesome Gardening. So yeah, it makes a huge difference, so it's kind of weird.
It's funny how 50 degrees can feel kind of a balmy feeling, or it can feel frigid, depending on the humidity.
Absolutely. You never know what you're going to get here. Our weather is very bipolar. What we generally don't have is extreme cold all the time. But this week it's proving us wrong because it's extremely cold here. So it's been kind of funny. But before you going to bed?
Yeah, probably.
Good night, Luke.
Yeah.
Luke's going
Good
to bed.
night, Luke.
Good night.
I'll come visit you in a minute. But we tend to get extremely hot summers here, and then summer just wants to hold on and hold on and hold on. And then you don't always have a real spring and a real fall. You just feel like you kind of skip over those nice times that other states have. And usually it's usually really warm. So, but you never know. Every year is a little different here. DB Acres, do you know why we say God bless you after a sneeze? I've heard that. Why? Ask him why.
Why, Philip? Tell us. And
I've read a story about that once.
While we're waiting for him, Brenda Baker said she's in Oklahoma, and I know that you don't want to disclose exactly where you are, but is there another way you could say where you are in Oklahoma?
He'll say.
Okay. If you want to just imagine 60 miles south, or mainly east and south of Oklahoma City.
Okay. And I'm waiting for Philip to respond.
What are your favorite things to plant for the winter?
Nothing.
We have not done a winter garden yet.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, you can plant potatoes fairly early. It's tricky though, because I take that back. The very first year we moved here, I planted the potatoes in February. We got a freeze in April, and it killed them. The plants.
The plague. Yeah, I've actually heard that Arizona kid, and they would say God bless you because they were afraid somebody was going to get the plague, and that was supposed to keep you from getting that. They
didn't
thought
know
the plague
that.
came from spirits or something.
That's
So
cool. I
know
didn't know that.
Kind of a creepy reason why we say God bless you, but I just say
Wow.
bless you. Yeah,
Sorry, Levi. I didn't mean to be creepy.
we say it. We say it. Yeah, it's funny in Oklahoma, you don't know if you're going to get apples because if you don't always get a hard freeze, you may not get the blossoms so that you get the blooms so you can get the apple. It all depends on what kind of year you're having in Oklahoma. So you try your best to plant and kind of see what happens. You're halfway between OKC and Tulsa. Well, nice to meet you, Brenda Baker.
Okay, Brenda, I think if you're probably directly north. I'm guessing directly north of where we are.
Cool.
I have friends in Tulsa and McAllister.
Very cool.
But yeah, for some reason, potatoes are usually our thing that we do good on. And this year, pumpkins and watermelons, especially the pumpkins, though, because we have such hot summers, they seem to like that.
Night, Kathleen.
Not in this area.
Really?
No, where's the closest local farmers produce?
I don't know.
It's about an hour. Well, okay.
You have to go in the city.
Yeah, because it's going to be there's a college that has a local produce place there. No, I wish. We actually live kind of in a podunk town, and all the towns that are somewhat close to us, they're not interested in anything organic. So we moved to a good place for us, but as far as kind of networking with people, we're not seeing a lot of that. So we're kind of on our own. And then since we're not growing all of our stuff yet, we do go to like Sprouts, Farmers Market. We have to go to like grocery stores that sell organics, and that's a good hour, which stinks. But what he does is, since he works close to some of those places, he does a lot of his shopping on his lunch hour, bless his heart. So that I don't have to drive that far.
Celtic Roots, we are really looking into the hay thing with potatoes. Our last, we planted 250 potatoes last year,
seed potatoes,
and we harvested a fourth of them because there was so much rain and so much overgrowth we couldn't get to them on time. And but yes, we were looking into the hay thing, and we hear that there's a good process there.
Yep. Route 66 by Stroud. Yeah.
Yes, there used to be a mall out there before the May 3rd tornado, Brenda. You probably know what I'm talking about.
The outlet mall, Brenda. Yep. Is it there anymore because of the tornado?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it closed, but not because of the tornado.
But yeah, back to the hay and the potato thing. I have seen so many awesome YouTube videos, and I would show them to David, where the people like literally pull up the hay. There is no digging. You just pull out the beautiful potatoes. That we're doing that next year. We will never dig out potatoes again. I don't know what we were thinking.
Did you see the Cow Emporium? They had hay bales up in Alberta, Canada. And it was wintertime, and they had things growing in underneath it. I couldn't believe it.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can do
see
it
if I
with
could
a lot
find
more
it,
than,
Dawn.
Sure. Yeah, you can do it with a lot more than potatoes. It is amazing. I think it's kind of similar to the Ruth Stout method, if you've heard of that.
Hang on a minute, I hit something wrong.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem. It's a method that really works. And there again, it's that working smarter. I want to get more for less if I can, because homesteading, it's hard work, and then building a house in the middle of it, we don't want to be building a house all day and then go out and dig up potatoes all night, so.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is, I think that was the one thing in our garden this year that excelled. Apparently, root vegetables do well here.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I couldn't believe it. I think we had 10 or 12 pounds of potatoes. And we could have let them go longer. It's just we were just so excited. And we also, that was 10 or 12 that we yielded. We had been digging them out of the ground for supper before that and didn't weigh them.
Yeah.
We just kept going out there digging up for, Ryan says, I want mashed potatoes. We go out and dig up some potatoes.
Yeah.
And it just turned out really nice.
Potatoes are amazing. Just keep them in the ground until you're ready for them.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
We had a pastor. He actually will not eat potatoes anymore because growing up, when would he have grown up? What years would that have been?
50s and 60s.
Yeah. And I guess they lived on a farm and his family did not have a lot of money and they had a root cellar and they would literally keep them in the root cellar for months. And I mean, probably beyond what any of us would ever do unless it was super hard times. And they would he said his grandpa and his dad would just cut off the black areas. And he was just he's like, I never want to see a potato again.
Yeah.
But, you did what you had to do,
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Celtic roots. Is that with the hay system? You're saying you got that many potatoes? That's amazing.
We're trying to.
Yeah, they're supposed to get over 2,500 pounds, but they only ended up with several hundred.
Okay, I got you.
We planted 70 pounds. Yeah, we didn't get anywhere near that.
They're just rotting out there.
They're out there rotting now.
Yeah, we decided it was just too hard to dig them up.
There's 2 inches of sod, thick grass sod now, which we're probably going to transplant as we're building our yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're transplanting sod as we go too. That's one thing we didn't mention.
Levi does not like transplanting sod. Because we're doing different things on different parts of land, as opposed to just getting rid of that, we actually transplant the sod so we don't have to pay for it somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not, Levi can tell you because he's done it. It is not fun to dig up in a specific way and move. So we literally went from this cushy life, I would say, where, we just did what we wanted anytime, like the average American, watch TV, go to church, run around and play outside. And now a lot of our life is extremely, just very focused on our goals and what we have to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. We do try to have a lot of time to stop and smell the roses. But unfortunately, when you need to get walls up and insulation, we're kind of working against a time thing here. And we were up against a time thing because we had to buy all this lumber.
Yeah.
Before the prices went back up. And so we try not to rush on anything. We like to take our time, but we've had to rush on, some things this year just to strike while the iron was hot with the lumber,
The homestead life is a big change. It's a big adjustment. And if you focus on being self-sufficient and eating cleaner and if you focus on that, you'll be okay. But if you just long for the city life, you'll struggle. You're going to struggle with it. But just focus on eating cleaner, self-sufficiency, and appreciating those things. I think you'll be better off.
Absolutely. Good night, Philip. Thanks for being here. Hey, Epileptic Pilot. Hey, Joe, Garden State Gardener. Dawn, I can answer this for you, but I'm going to let you answer it.
What are all the names in your family? I know you could because you always talk to me about them. Lily, Levi, Luke. And did you just say the kids or the people? All the people?
Everybody.
David and Dawn.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're wrapping up, folks. We've only got a few more minutes left. So if you guys want to ask any questions, now would be a great time. Let me know. I did want to tell you, Levi, you want to know what I use sod for? You're probably going to laugh.
What?
You've seen Sherman, our pig, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he was little, he was in one barn, and then we had to move his barn. So when we moved his barn, the step up into the building was just a little too high, and it must have made him a little anxious because he didn't go in as easily. And we had to put like a like a block there, and then he wouldn't step up on the block. It was just kind of weird, you know? Well, my husband took some dirt and dug it up with his foot and then took a piece of sod and made it on an angle and made a ramp for him.
Oh, it's good.
And
That
you
is
want to know
good.
something? We never had trouble with him going in and out of the barn until we moved it. And he was fine by then because he was big enough by then. So
And isn't that just the homestead life? You just have to get resourceful,
Try.
you know,
absolutely.
and trial and error, you know, and you all homeschool? What curriculum? Just curious. Yeah. Landmark. It is a Baptist curriculum. Yeah. And now this is not why we do it, but it actually happens to be the cheapest curriculum out there. Very good. And the math is solid. And I've literally used it. I have a 19-year-old and I used it his whole, school career. And he went to VOTEC and this is not about us. This is a God thing. He tested some of the highest on the testings there were. He did good on the ACT test and the SAT.
Well, and they had what is it? This math. They had math at the VOTEC that he did well.
Algebra.
Algebra and geometry.
Yeah, and he did so good on that. And so, I say all this to say that people can be down on homeschooling sometimes, and you have to do, once again, I'm going to say this, what works for you. Homeschooling may not be for everybody, but is a great fit for us. And it was something we were very passionate about, and currently looking for a better language curriculum. I'll check it out. Oh yeah, great. I hope you enjoy it. It is a great website. They have very good customer service there too. Whoa. We hear really loud sounds in a metal house. There's like a helicopter going over something. Sorry.
Metal building, the nature of it amplifies outside noises.
And especially when you don't have your entire, ceilings on. It's we feel sometimes like we're in a bomb shelter.
We've got a helicopter going by.
I was going to say, how is it in a hailstorm?
Okay, we never had a really bad ones, little ones.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah, it does not.
Say the little ones were off.
Pea-sized hail, and we're running around in circles.
We felt like we were at World War II or something the first time we were. It was like, oh my goodness! And it's just, I'm not a person who's normally real nervous about sounds, but I was just like, I just feel like people were attacking me. Yeah, you start to get paranoid.
At least at night now, when our rooms are insulated. So,
yes.
So
we sleep so good.
Nice.
We sleep so good, and no, I don't want y'all to think we've been through the ringer, but we've definitely had some, it's almost been kind of a toughening up. And I think you do have to go through a little bit of that when you move from city life to country. I know people, this was their whole life, grandma and grandpa raised the parents, then the parents raised the kids. And, for us, we didn't have, his parents lived on 5 acres. So there was a little bit of it, but I was 100% city kid. My dad was a police officer in the city. But yeah, so just learning. And I think it was nice that we were on a third of an acre was it a third of an acre? But yeah, third of an acre, and then kind of moved up. It was, probably me just going to 40 acres would have been very interesting. But anyways, it's crazy.
That's awesome. I was just thinking, when you're talking about living in a metal house, one time when we were a younger family, we went camping, and Nick had to be in middle school. And so we were camping, and we had done some hiking up Mount Washington in New Hampshire. And it just happened to be a rainy week. And so we hiked, we were exhausted. We get back and we woke up, it was like 4 a.m. and there's the rain on the tent. It was just got to the point where I was like, I'm going to get coffee. I can't take it anymore. It's hard sometimes,
Coffee's
but of course the tent is, the tent is right here,
Oh, back before the helicopter came over, back to what I was saying, it just dawned on me, the homeschool thing. I was just going to say, it's been a tremendous blessing in our lives. And, it may not be for everybody, but a lot of people are down on homeschoolers because they feel like you have to have a college education and, this and that. And I didn't finish my degree, but I did go to college, and I had, I went through all 12 years of high school. And so, all you have to have is the desire to do it and
And the
God
will.
and the will.
If you don't have
And
that, you won't succeed.
I hated math. I totally hated math. I had an algebra teacher who was not patient with me. And so beginning homeschooling, I found that I was terrified of math. And then the second time around doing math on my own, I wasn't scared because I didn't have somebody who was impatient with me. I just sat there and I did it on my own. And I thought, oh, math is easy. You know, I found it came so easy to me. And then if I didn't know how to do something, if I didn't know how to do something in algebra 2, I looked it up on YouTube. I watched them do it. I did it. And that's how we did it. And we got through, and the kids, you know, they've excelled and they're thriving. And I just feel like it's kind of like the homesteading thing. We're not just born knowing how to do everything, you know, and if you didn't come from a family who taught you those kind of things, you have to learn. But I think some people are down on people for some of the things they do, but everybody has a different path.
Absolutely.
And we need to be more about encouraging, you know, people.
Instead of tearing people down. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're not doing something that's against God, I'm all for you. You know, if you're not doing anything illegal.
Yep. No, I agree. Well, I see our time is up, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time because, again, everybody's in different time zones like yourself. And I know that this is a long time for somebody to be here. But I really want to thank you all because we've really enjoyed having you. And it was nice to see all the kids. Usually it's just you and Lily. So it was really nice to see David and the kids or the adult boys almost.
Tell me about it.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of us.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm really glad that we were able to get you on, and we wish you the very best in your journey, and you'll probably have a lot of new friends from tonight, which is what we hope for.
Yeah.
So
thank you. I want to thank you for always supporting us.
Always. I love to support people. I think it's important because everybody supports me. You got to give back.
Tell Ryan we said hi.
I will definitely do that. And I want to thank everybody in the chat so much for being here.
Yes,
Again, thanks for being so kind. We've been gone for 2 weeks, so it was really nice to come back and be blown away by how many people were here tonight. So Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great evening.
Bye.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's so fun. Oh, thanks, Dad, for staying up.